Hey guys, my name is Octoman and today I want to go a bit deeper into particle systems. Basically it's about animated particles. So animated particles just means you can do any animation and places one in your particle system. You can say you have some flames or some ghosts or anything else flying around, and then they will do the animation themselves. You can also use this for explosions or mini explosions, or even changing forms. I'm going to show you what I have done, and we go and produce this one, and I'll introduce an interesting program for doing this in the free as a free version. So what I want to show is over here. So I made a particle system with animated ghosts flying up, and they decrease their size and get transparent. Decreasing their size and getting transparent is what you know already. We learned this in previous tutorials. But the more important one is the animation itself. And to produce such effect or any other effect, I want to introduce Graphicsgale in its free edition. This is made by Human Balance. I'm going to send a link or write the link to this program in the description below. And with that program, once you got this one, you can easily create animations in pixels. So basically that program is used for pixel art, for, old school RPGs and stuff like Secret of Mana or whatever games you may know from the SNES time. And you can use this program to create particles or animated particle or texture sheets. What I want to make sure is I only use a size of 256 by 256. You can also create presets and stuff in here, and then press OK. And in here we get the particle size of that what we want. We have some frames or a layer system which is called frames in here. On the right side we have the color palette and also some different pens or pencils we can use, and some kind of fill possibilities. We want just full color fill. So over here we have all tools for line art and some squares, some circles, fill stuff, use the eraser tool and so on. So to make everything work properly and so on, we create that ghost. Right now I'm going to show you how you can create such animation, how we export and import that later on into Unity and use it in the use this inside the particle system. So at first I'm going to increase the size. You can see I have a loop or whatever it's called, a magnifying glass, to decrease and increase the size. This is over here with the right mouse button. You can just decrease, with left increase size. What I want is, personally I use a graphics tablet to paint or draw stuff easy. The first thing I want to make sure is that I have my layer manager or my layers open here. You can drag this around wherever you want. If it's not shown, then you might check where that thing is over here under view, and then make sure everything is selected and on. All that windows can be placed wherever you want. So this is our preview, this is our history panel, and this is the magnifying stuff. Since we are pixel art or doing kind of pixel art, this is important maybe later on for other animations, but not for this one, basically. Okay, what I also want to make sure is that if I am in that layer, I can press that 3 dots here and can say this has a transparency on. So everything which is a white color will be transparent later on. Same can be done in the frames under that one. so we can make sure that this is transparent too. And also I want a delay maybe of 10 or any preset you want. So 10 would be like 10 frames per second, I think. So this is what you want. Make sure this is one at 10. You can also leave it at as 60 like in video games, but we won't create 60 frames. We maybe create 8 frames or something like that. So what we want is, I'm using my pen right now and my graphics tool. You may want to do that with your mouse. I think this is possible. I believe it is possible. You can also use some shapes like this one, so you just need to click around, and then let's test this one out. So I can press here, and then I have a curvy shape. I tried to make it around here. What I want to achieve is a sinus curve, but this one is too big, I would say. Basically I need 1.5. I'm going to do it by hand, that's easier. So what I want is, I want around the middle and around this middle. I think you can also do some help lines from down and top. And what I want a sinus shape, or a sinus shaped curve. Maybe like this, and also here, and then going a bit more, and then going back. Okay, this does not need to be perfect or 100% perfect. To erase stuff later on, you just need to change the color to white and choose a bigger pen size or whatever, and just draw it over with a white color, and then go back to black by pressing the X, and then paint more. Okay, so this is maybe the shape I want my ghosts to fly, and maybe I will go and make this a bit smoother, like so. I don't know, or maybe it needs to be down a bit more here, so this is going to be more the shape we are after. So here will be the spot where they hit, or kind of repeat. So again, I go over and change the color to white and paint over what I don't need. Don't be too precise, it will take too long to figure out. It's just for a basic line we are going to orientate at. As you can see, this is a preview. We don't care about that other markers and stuff. So what I want to go next is, I want to at first animate that shape. So what I need is, I need a copy of that frame first. So I can go to that small arrow and say duplicate it to the right direction. And give that frame a name, or do not if you like. And then we take everything by Control A, like in every other any other program like Photoshop and stuff. It's all the same stuff. So as you can see, now it starts to animate like there. And I want just to go down with that curve, so I have later on an animation of maybe 8 frames, and want to go down, and so it looks like it is moving. So again, we are now in frame 2. I paint off the rest of that shape, which is missing over there. Maybe it's already going up a bit. Don't care too much. Select that frame, duplicate to the right again, duplicate into right, say OK, again so Control A, and move this down again a bit. Now you can see it starts to move pretty nicely, and again deselect all by just deselect all by just using the pen tool. And again, draw the shape in the right direction. It's going up from this point. And then Basically we copy that one several times to the right again. So from here to the right, Control A, move everything down a bit, maybe like so. Yeah, that looks okay. And we paint the rest of the shape back up. I know it's not 100%, but it doesn't matter for the stuff we want to do. Make sure you do it as good as you can, but not too precise. So again, around the same amount, again taking the pen tool, we need to land somewhere here. So I'm going to paint this up. I can see we almost have our whole animation. So again, duplicate to the right, everything, selecting, do around the same amount again down, and then draw more of that curvy shape. Now we have almost, or we are almost at the same spot. So again, duplicate to the right, say okay, Control A, a bit more down again, take the pen tool and form the shape down. Now you can see on in the animation we are almost done. And if you are not sure, we have the possibility to use onion skin. Onion skin means we can see the previous shape under the layer and the other shape in front. We can say we want to see the back frame, we want to see the forward frame, or we want to see both frames. So we can see through every frames if they are good or precise, if the differences or the differences are great or big enough, and so we get a nice flow in here. And since we start over here in the middle of that part, which will be the first, we need to create another one, I believe. The copy of the copy of the copy, and move this one again down. Now you can see with onion skin we can see everything kind of okayish. So make sure you use what you need, or if you need that onion skin, then yeah, just do so. Again, we completing the shape, which is this one, and going down where we started. So now we have almost, or let's say we have a kind of okayish shape. The first one is a bit bulgy, the last one is a bit, spiky, but it doesn't really matter, as I said. So now we have some kind of shape. So now we can see, okay, this is the way our ghosts are going to fly. So we now create per frame new layers, but we do that once we are drawing that stuff in. So go to the layer and say add. And this one again needs to be a transparent, it's layer 2. You can rename that however you want, and I'm going to take a color I can see best or better. So I know, choose that color like cyan. And what I want is, I want my ghost to be somewhere in the middle the whole time. I don't want it to be or to hit the top or the bottom. I just want to make sure it's somewhere in the middle. Make it as big or as small as you want, but basically don't forget we have that shape running here. So let's say our top might be here from that from our ghost, and maybe our bottom is somewhere here. So I draw a shape like that ghost right now. Maybe I make another marker on the side. It doesn't make much. And this is the shape we are going to follow. So I say, okay, here's my head, and the body of that ghost is going to follow here, and it's thinning out to the end. I don't want to paint eyes inside, but I want to make sure that I already fill this one. So make sure every line is closed, and you can see, okay, this is what I have done. So in the next thing, with that onion skin, we are able to complete the next shape pretty easily, since we don't actually need that markers on the side, but later on we might too. If we do other animations. So what I want to do now, here is my head going, and it's laying into the right, then this follows the whole way down to that spot and thinning out there. So again, make sure everything is closed, so no pixels are open, so we can fill this one again. So this is our second animation. Oh, I forgot to make it on another layer. That's too bad. Basically, it's not impossible to do. So now you can see I have to draw that stuff once again. Pretty quick. I just draw over and hope I don't miss anything. And can later on overdraw that. Okay, I have to disable this one pretty quick. Sorry. Oh yeah, there's a small opening. As I said, make sure everything is closed. And then we can fill this one up. And the line, if we need that on that layer again, then we can just do that like this. Again, add a new layer. Take the pen tool. Again, our head is somewhere here, so we lay our head a bit more to the right. We need to go somewhere here, so we thinning out in this direction a bit more, and in this direction like so. Again, fill this one up if it's closed in all parts. I don't know, maybe this was the one, yeah. Then we again go to the next one, create a new or add a new layer in here. Now our line is in here, so this is our next middle. Our head is somewhere here right now, and we follow up that shape to this point. In your preview, you can already see how this one is going to swim, or how it is going to flow up pretty nicely. So fill this up and go to the next layer. As I have said, we have already 8 layers, which is pretty good, and a pretty decent animation for this. So here our ghost is going to swing into the other direction, so we need to take care of that and give it the right flow. So always follow the line and make sure this is going to be the middle of our ghost, kind of. Again, I made this, or I forgot to add a new layer in here, so let me overpaint all of that stuff and fill this up again. If again it's not working, we need to take care of that one later anyways. I just want to make sure that I have the animation done. There was an opening. Oh, here's a big opening. Okay, that looks okay. Next one. Again, enable that layer. Add a new layer in here. Take a pen tool, and again, here's our head. It's going to bulge out in this direction just a bit. Go here, and here we have the flow of that ghosty, droppy thingy, whatever. So fill this again and go to the next layer. Add a new one, of course. Now we are here, so this is going to thin out a bit more like this, I believe, or I think. And then fill this again, if it's closed already, of course. So let's check it out. There is the opening. You can also create all your animations with any other program, like I don't know, Photoshop and so on. But I like this one pretty nicely because, or I like this really, yeah, I just like that really, because I can instantly see what I do. I don't have to create tons of high quality stuff and then see, oh, that's not good or whatever. So this should be our last animation step. We may need to fix some of that animations things later on anyways, and clean up stuff, of course. I can't see that opening. Oh, there it is. Pretty small one. There we go. So now in our preview, we can see this one is moving pretty decent, pretty nicely. This is not an animation tutorial, of course. This is just how can things be done, and you can preview this already. So let's go and just refine our animation a bit. So every openings and every stuff which is outside needs to be cleaned off. So our animation in Unity later on is looking good. This is what we want to achieve, of course. So take care of all that problems we have. Layers we don't need, we just disable. So we disable this one too. I also disable onion skin, since I have the flow of all animations already. Going to to fill this one a bit better. Oh, we need to hurry a bit. So yeah. Oh. With Control Z, as in all other programs you may use, you can just delete stuff or make an undoing a step. So this is almost okay. Then we choose this one, disable that again, paint the things, makes them all clean up, or kind of clean up, so they look decent and the animation looks later on nice. You can also do that steps later on in Photoshop and GIMP, in I don't know, with whatever program you want to use for this. You can also use Flash for doing animations. A lot of animators using Flash to create animations. Personally, I cannot afford Flash, so I don't use this. So I use that free kind of free edition of Graphicsgale. If you like this, yeah, just go over and buy it to get its full power or full content. This version here might be also an older version of Graphicsgale, so make sure you check their website and see if they have a newer one. Maybe some icons have changed over time, I don't know. I'm not into that. Disable that layer again. also fill out. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong layer again. And there we go. So 3 more frames. Disabling those, or filling up that small spots. You can also use the fill tool and fill in all that spots. So a bit smaller pen again. Paint that stuff inside. Next layer, disable the other one. Paint some white to get rid of all that ugly lines here. And fill other spots like this and maybe like this and make them all a bit rounder. And the last one, disable that layer, and of course get rid of all that help lines. So gonna take a bit bigger one like this. This away, this away. It's a bit hard to see sometimes where to paint, since you cannot see the outline of the brush. Maybe there is somewhere an option to make this one visible, but since we are almost done, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now you can see our animation for that drop, or actually our ghost we want to be, is pretty nice and floating pretty well. You can also make fishes out of that if you want to, so you can just paint all stuff what fishes have onto that and makes this one a fish instead of a ghost. Okay, to make our ghost complete we need some eyes, so I enable onion skin again and I just use a white pen and delete some points to get some eyes in our ghosties. You can also use a mouse, as I have shown you in the preview. For now I just go for eyes. Try to place them always on the same or in this close to the point where they are. If you in the preview see sometime a spot, then this is the pen. So or the pen position. If you see that white spot here on the body, this is the pen position. So you can always check if that position would be the right position or somewhere nearby is the right position. Okay, so now we have all our eyes in. As you can see, they're wobbling around a bit, but it doesn't really matter. And you can always say, I want a sad mouse or a laughing mouse or whatever. Okay, so this is our basic shape. So basically we can say we are done with that. Oh, gonna get rid a bit of that. Yeah, so you can always in all that frames add more effects, like a burning effect or any other, or maybe something which is spitting out from the center or going to do anything else. Maybe I do other particle or animated particle tutorials later on, but this one is what I wanted to show at first because it's kind of easy to produce. So since we are done with that, we need to save that. And so we go to File, and instead of just saving that, which will give us a Graphicsgale file, we go to Export, and then we can say how many columns we want. Since we have 8 of that frames we need to export, we can say, okay, we want 4 columns. That means the first four frames will be on the first row, and the second row will be the next 4. I believe it is. Yes, it should. So also you want to make sure it's a combined image. Multiple files is not what we want, except you want to use this in Photoshop and want to do all that stuff again or whatever. I prefer using the combined image because this is a texture sheet we can instantly use in Unity. So let's export this one. So I press OK, and here we have the possibility to use a Gale file from Graphicsgale, or we can use already TGA or PNG files. The cool thing again about PNG files, we can instantly use the alpha channel in that PNG file. I made some tests in here for other stuff. We go into that stuff later. We take and now we give that one a name. So we say ghost, I don't know, 8F for 8 frames. Animation or texture sheet, whatever you want. You can just say ghost or ghost 002 for my thing. Just name it and don't forget to find this one later on. Okay, I save this. And basically we are done in here. As you can see, we have still all that pixelized corners or edges, which we can fix with GIMP, Photoshop, or anything else you are preferred to use that effects. I don't go into that since you should actually know that, how you can smooth out all that stuff. So time to go to Unity again. I go into my textures folder, and in here we should no, we don't. Okay, then I go into my folder and drag this one again. So import this. Okay, so now I imported this one, and as you can see, it has somehow a white background and the ghost color is the same. So what we want is we go to sprite, single, and say okay, apply. So now all that white background is transparent and our ghosts still are bluish. If you want to make sure later on, if you don't want the additive shading, then you can or if you want to use additive shading, then you might want to choose a white or you use a black background instead. So maybe like this one, and then use this instead. Okay, so now we have that, and we create our particle system with that ghost. So we go to the materials folder at first and create a material for our ghost. So create material, and I'm going to call this one ghosts 2. I believe I have a ghost 1. Yeah, there we go. And in that material I drag that in the albedo channel and go to particles, and now I can use alpha blended, or I basically should be able to use additive. Additive, as you can see, will blend into each other and lightening up everything. So yeah, you decide what you want to use. I think this time I go for alpha blended, so they will all stay the same color. Alpha blended is not working with black backgrounds like this one, so make sure you use the right shader, of course. And now we can use this material on the particle system itself. I'm going to delete my old particle system and create a new one by right-clicking on the right side or in the hierarchy panel, and then just go particle system. It's already or still as its basic stuff. So some dots are coming out, and now the interesting part is the texture sheet animation tab. So I at first go to renderer. We talk about billboard in a second. Go to my materials folder and take ghosts 2 and drag this one inside. Now you can see we have that particles coming out, but as a texture sheet, not as an animation. So we go to texture sheet animation and say we have an X value of 2 and a y value of 4. So we have oh no, it's wrong. It's 4x and 2 in y. Now you can see already our ghosts are animating, but they are pretty slow for their speed they are walking up. So we can say we want more cycles, like maybe 10. So we can increase with that 10 cycles. We can increase their speed while they are flowing up. They still do all that animations we were drawing before, and using that from that texture sheet. And that's basically it. We can say we don't want emitting shape of a cone, or basically we want to, but we decrease the radius, or increase the radius but decrease the angle to 0, so all will fly straight up, and so on and so forth. So more animation stuff can be done with more impressive animations, of course. We will later on go into more advanced animations, which all that high quality guys are using. The problem is, as always, you need to invest a lot of time just in the particles, or use a 3D rendering program like 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, or anything else you know or work with, and make some interesting animations which have a lot of shading in their shapes and all the other things. What I want to check by myself right now is if I can change colors. Oh yeah, I can do. But since I have that magenta already inside, it is, I believe it's multiplying the color with that. So if I choose the same color, it would just lighten this one up. But yeah, so now you learned how you can create your own animated particles and can use them instantly in the Unity engine and make a lot of effects. So I believe in the next tutorial I'm going to show you some more advanced particle systems, which will combine every animations stuff, every other things we already learned in the previous tutorials, and make some more impressive effects like big explosions, or I don't know, other things you may want to go over. So at first, try to learn a bit more about Graphicsgale. Try to, play around with all that things. Maybe you want to try how to create explosions or mini explosions with this one, or maybe shining suns, rotating stuff, exploding things, I don't know, flying around things. We can also produce circles which are growing later on, and so on and so on, or which are showing dizziness on characters. I believe we are going on to this one later on too, just by creating some alpha maps again, maybe with Graphicsgale or with GIMP or anything else, and then apply them to the particle system. I'm not sure. Maybe I want to go over and show you the stuff in GIMP pretty quick again. So I open it up, our texture sheet, and what we can do here is we can say we blend out all that hard edges, or we just colorize our ghost animation with white. So we can use the plain white alpha map or stuff in Unity. So what you can do, you can just use that fill tool and use a white color and just put that color inside. Now export this back once again as a transparent transparent PNG, and then you can use any color on that ghosts, whichever you want. You can also now go over and change everything, or any changes you may want to do are like smoothing out the edges or make them in the end a bit more transparent. This is all what you want to go and decide on your own. I believe you know how to use GIMP. If not, then you just go to File, Export, and make sure that you export this one as a PNG again. So don't use save, just go and use export. You can choose the format you want to export this in here, and then just hit export, and then it is going to be the one. I can do this if you want. I will replace my current, and don't forget to save the background image color or save background color, which will be transparent. So I use export. Now again I go back to Unity and drag my ghosts file into the textures panel again. Where is it? Maybe I can just overwrite this. Oh no. We're going to delete this. Now we see just white in here, so again go to Sprite 2D, apply this one, and then you can see there are the white ghosts. That's why sometimes, because of that checker map, sometimes you cannot see the actual stuff. And now we go to our materials folder, select the ghosts 2, again drag our or the right texture inside, and in the preview they are now the right color. So if they're white, then they are white, if they're blue, they're blue, if they're red, they are red, and you can blend in or give them any color you want. Or if you want to use start color, render between two colors, then you can do so, and he will lerp between those two colors and give you different texture types or texture colors. So this is everything I wanted to cover and wanted to show you. It's another long tutorial. I'm sorry for this one, but I wanted to show you all of that impressive stuff you can do pretty easily on your own. So, if you have any questions about Graphicsgale, any questions about Unity, animated particles, or anything else, just write me a comment below, or a personal message by the YouTube system. If you don't have already, just make sure you subscribe to my channel. And of course, thumb my video up if you like it and if you found this one helpful. So, and if you want to donate some money, then yeah, you can do so on my channel page on the top right corner. There's a button for PayPal, so yeah, feel free to do so. This is everything I wanted to show, so see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.